The collective welcomes you. Show countdown engaged. You now have 60 seconds to prepare yourself. Begin program.
All right, we are recording. We are here. The ACPC TV. I can't believe I actually did that.
You did it. You did it right. I'm so proud.
I'm proud of that. We are excited. It is WrestleMania weekend. There's all kinds of fun stuff. If you're a wrestling fan, this is like your Christmas, and it is our Christmas, at least for me and for us here today. So, yeah. So, what do we want to jump into first? It's been got the Hall of Fame. We've got NXT Stand and Deliver. Did y'all watch that?
Yes.
I watched
it.
Yeah, I got to watch some of it. I had a little thing earlier, but man, they were doing some pretty gutsy stuff on Stand to Deliver. When what's his name had the two guys on top of him. I don't see how his
the Dijak match. Yeah.
I don't see how his didn't buckle, but man.
Yeah.
That what's the guy's name that's the North American champion? He was in that match.
Omar Femi or something.
Man, that dude is a beast.
He's a beast, but I'm not buying him. Like he's not great at doing promos. Now he's a beast in the ring, but I forget the other guy's name. So I know him and I know Dijak. The other guy I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting his name. They keep rebranding that guy, and they keep bringing him back as he was a tag team for a little bit. But Dijak, he's gone through several iterations. But man, that man has put on some classic. I mean, he's put on some clinic matches in NXT, and I still can't believe they can't. They tried getting him up to the main brands, but then he pulled him back, and I don't know why, but he's put on a clinic before in the ring.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how they go to NXT, and that's just a whole different area for them. So I guess what we need to do first, I jumped right into NXT. What is WrestleMania? What does this weekend mean to you guys as wrestling fans? Like, what's your early memories of some of these WrestleManias?
Oh my gosh, dude. Well, like WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see... Or WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 4 is probably my most cognitive memory of WrestleMania.
The tournament. Okay. The tournament.
Yeah. So, like, WrestleMania for me, man, is when you get to see the best of wrestling in all aspects. You know, like entrances, or the build-up, the storylines that build up and end on WrestleMania, and even what kicks off the next year of storyline. For me, man, WrestleMania is just... Now, I will say, there has been a WrestleMania drought, but I'm really excited about this year because I feel like people with passion for WrestleMania have taken over the helm. So WrestleMania for me is honoring the past, and now like I'm excited for the future.
So it's the culmination of all the things we love about wrestling. You know, it's the pageantry, it's the showmanship, it's the end of stories. It's the culmination of stories. It's the beginning of stories. You know, and I think that bleeds right into, you know, Cody Rhodes' whole thing, finishing his story. I think that's why it took off so well, because we know WrestleMania is the moment where stories are ended and new ones begin. And so it's that reset button every year where, you know, but I think what makes this year so special, it's the 40th anniversary. And I think what makes this year so special is if you watch the Hall of Fame and you've watched some of these interviews coming out of, you know, WrestleMania weekend, especially with Paul Levesque, we are on the verge of a paradigm shift in WWE. Vince McMahon is completely and utterly gone. And his influence is gone because, you know, let's be honest, we owe a lot to Vince for creating what he created and driving a whole lot of great story over the years. But me personally, just my opinion, I feel at some point he took his finger off the pulse of the people, and eventually got to a point of overwhelming power where he only wanted to force feed people what he wanted and not what the people wanted. And so
it was obvious.
Yeah. And so I feel with all the things that have happened with the new acquisition of WWE, them giving the reins to Paul Levesque, to The Rock coming in and being a member of the board of directors for TKO. I think all of these are going into now. I understand that a lot of these things are done, like the Rock thing, I think was done for optics to help take some of the negativity or take some of the light off of McMahon and what's happening there and put it back on The Rock. But I think all of these things that are happening are all leading up to something that could, I'm not going to say they are going to be, but could be something really fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree. Like, I think that WrestleMania for me, like Matt, you said WrestleMania 3 for me is my big one. Hulk and Andre. I don't know what it was about that one that just, I felt like that's where it really kind of just went off. But like, I like what Paul Levesque said whenever he was talking about the Attitude Era. They said, do you think we're going back to the Attitude Era? And he's like, you know what's funny? He was like, we never called it the Attitude Era. You guys did.
After the fact.
Yeah, so that's why we went into this. And I think that with The Rock, with Triple H, and with a few other ones that are backstage, I think we're about to see, like Matt said and Jim said, I think Monday Night Raw is kind of like the season premiere of a new era. Like WrestleMania, this is going to close out so much. So I am excited. So as we transition, let's finally talk about Stand and Deliver. I watched the Roxanne Perez and the what's her name, Jim? Valkyrie.
Yeah.
That was an amazing match.
I thought it was great. That was a great story. I think both of those ladies are tremendous wrestlers and good characters.
I think it's only a matter of time before we see Roxanne Perez and possibly her. They could be going for the title in the Nashville WrestleMania, like for the women's title. Like I could totally see that. And Trick Williams and Carmella Hayes, I liked it, and there was a lot of build up. But man, I was watching it and I was like, yeah.
Okay, I think the problem with that match is Trick Williams. I think Carmelo Hayes is phenomenal. I think he's a great promo. And I think his in-ring work is second to none. I think he's got that perfect balance of, you know, cruiserweight versus heavyweight capability. And I think he works a mic and an angle and sells you on his emotion better than most. I don't buy Trick Williams. I don't buy him.
Yeah.
Can I just say with that, I think with what you just said, I think a lot of jobs are in danger, and this is why I say that. I think to kind of like go back and stick with this is I think the characters and some of the wrestling in NXT that is now coming up to the big leagues is going to show you that you are going to have to be great characters now.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
we are no longer going to stick with McMahon's favorites just
Mm-hmm.
because he likes you and get to hold the belt for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you like there's going to have to be people that know how to work the mic. I think in the next 3 years we're going to see characters again. We're going
Oh
to
yeah.
see actual characters, because if you're not holding the audience, then why do we need you? And it's going to keep the passion in wrestling again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look back at like WrestleMania 3, 4, even all the way to 9, I would
Hmm.
say is you see guys who gave more passion to that character than like until like you had like a decade in between where it was just them holding wrestling together, and then you had the attitude era of new characters, people who
Mm-hmm.
put that same kind of passion into that character, because that is what it takes. And now we're kind of getting some of that again. We're getting that with like LA Knight, we're getting it with
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes, who had to go away and come back to find Cody Rhodes,
Yep.
Hmm.
the nightmare that is what is needed. And I think like The Rock kind of coming back and then going away is kind of showing you that like we don't need The Rock anymore.
No.
Like
No.
we have people that are screaming just as loud for Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Gunther of
Mm-hmm.
all people.
Oh,
Hmm.
dude,
Like
Gunther is
like
amazing.
Yeah.
so it's just showing you there's an end of an era, and I'm gonna keep my true end of an era for when we get to it. But I
Yeah.
have something. I don't think this era is over. I have something. I have something locked and loaded that I think is going to truly end this era of wrestling, and it's going to shoot past, and it's going to happen within the next year.
Well,
Okay.
to your point, Matt, though, with people having to up their game on their persona, it's going to be even tougher because we're now back into an era where you have some significant competition out there to
Mhm.
WWE, and you just had AEW birthed one of the most one of the larger than most most larger than life characters I've seen come about in a while, and that's Jade Cargill. And she's
Yeah.
coming right. That woman walked in the door and is walking right into WrestleMania. If you don't think they have big plans for her,
Yeah.
I mean, but so that woman is. I mean, you're going to have to if you want to make it in this new era, you're going to have to get to that level of persona and believing in your own character. Just like you said, Cody had to leave to go find the Nightmare. They've got to go find who it is they want to be, and it's what's going to get them over if they want to survive in this new era.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the time of, and I used to love this, but the time of going, oh, he's the next so and so, that's
Yeah.
out. I
Yeah.
think now, like Matt said, Carmelo Hayes alone on that promo and the way he gets in that ring and everything, he'll
Mhm.
be he is definitely Raw or SmackDown bound. There's no doubt about that. Well, let's jump into the Hall of Fame. I love the Hall of Fame every year. I I don't like the
Some years
celebrity.
some years more than others, and I think we all
Yeah,
can agree the fact that the celebrity wing needs to go away. But
I need that to go. I don't really like that. I think there's some that in the Hall of Fame that need to be in the Hall of Fame that's not, like Midnight Express, but we'll
yeah,
save that for another show. Hall of Fame, what was y'all's, and Matt, we'll start with you. What was your highlight of the Hall of Fame?
Oh my gosh. Paul Heyman.
hmm
Okay, so I know we all agree. I think we're all going to say Paul
yeah,
Heyman
Paul Heyman.
made that. But Paul Heyman's speech showed me that this year in the for the first time in the past 10 Hall of Fames, they're showing respect,
Yeah.
because they're not making it a joke. They're not They
hmm
did it in the ring, and like with all the speeches and everything, and like Paul Heyman's speech like, I mean, I don't know. Like, it just didn't feel like a joke this year. And
Yeah,
like, even with their celebrity induction, it even made sense this time,
it
Mm-hmm.
you
did.
know? And, because even if you took away the fact that he's a celebrity induction, he was an athlete before.
Hmm.
He was
Mm-hmm.
actually a fighter before. So he was a fighter that came and was a part of the WWE, and it was like an important part of the WWE when he was. And like, I just feel like this year, like when I watched the entire Hall of Fame, I was like, this feels like a real Hall of Fame and not like
Yeah,
something fake that they just made up
Had a
and stuff.
completely different feel to it this year than it ever
Yeah.
has.
Jim, what was yours? I know probably Paul Heyman.
So yes, you got to give the props to Paul. That was an amazing speech, and I would expect nothing less from a polarizing persona such as Paul. One of the big takeaways I took away from his speech, though, was, I don't know if you caught it or not, but I feel as though it was alluded to. Paul Levesque is giving the talent more freedom to
Uh-huh.
create, and I feel like they're taking away the scripting more. I think they're
Hmm.
going to go back to the old era of bullet points. Here's what we want to get to. We want, obviously push over the pay-per-view, whatever, but here's your bullet points. Here's what we want to make happen. Go create. And that's what I'm really excited about, is we're getting back to an era of the talent creating their own path
Hmm.
versus a writer's room, writing a movie, trying to do this. Cause that's not, we buy it more and we see the passion more when the talent are able to steer their own ship. And so I think we're going to see a lot of good things come out of that.
Hmm.
So to the celebrity inductees, I think they could do something similar to what like Layla Ali did for The Rock. She presented him with
Cool.
the People's Champ belt, because Muhammad gave him the nod to be the People's Champ, and he used that moniker. But why couldn't they just do something like an honorary award type thing? They wouldn't have to induct them into the Hall of Fame. But how about they just create an honorary award, celebrity award of some sort, that they present that award to them or their family during the Hall of Fame, just to recognize them, but keep them out of the Hall of Fame and let it serve the purpose it's there to serve.
I
I,
agree
c-
with that.
I completely agree with that. And it could be like the Lifetime Achievement Award at the
Yeah,
Oscars. And you
yeah,
could call it like the Gorilla Monsoon Award. It
Oh
could
yeah,
be
man.
like a
absolutely,
Lifetime Achievement Award of some sort.
absolutely.
And it can be like a trophy or like a little statue or something
It could be a
instead of
belt,
like,
just like they gave The Rock. It could be
yeah,
anything they
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
it to
yeah.
be. It's an award that they hand them and recognize them for their achievements. Because I mean, let's face it. I mean, I think you said this, Matt. The importance of Muhammad Ali. He was there in the very beginning. It was because he
Hmm.
helped launch WrestleMania. So I mean, he was just that level of popular and that level of persona that helped create that launching pad to now we're to create what we're celebrating 40 years later.
Hmm.
So yes, that is important. That is something very important to celebrate. But don't induct him into the Hall of Fame. Just give him an award, an achievement award, and recognize the what he gave to professional wrestling. And that's another thing. That's another thing too. Did you notice Paul was like Sports Center
Yeah,
professional wrestling?
I
I,
love that.
I love that. I was like, okay, something's happening. Something's happening.
Yeah, Paul Heyman, of course, was my favorite, which we all knew it was going to be for all of us. But
Mm-hmm.
man, I remember his days in like the old WCW. We all do. Whenever he was managing the Midnight Express and he busted open Jim Cornette with that cell phone,
Yeah.
and then he went on to ECW. I loved what he said, and it's kind of odd. It kind of gave me a little bit of motivation whenever he was like, "Don't let people cancel you out.
Yeah.
I've been canceled, and I come back stronger every single time. He just when he passes, that's going to be a loss in wrestling.
It's gonna be huge.
Like,
And I was just gonna say, if I need Paul Heyman to groom the next Paul Heyman
oh,
right
dude.
now.
Yeah.
See, and that's the thing, and I'm glad you brought that up because I read where him and CM Punk are in charge now of helping the younger ones get on the mic, and I was like, man, you couldn't have asked for two better
Oh,
ones.
God.
That's the two
Yeah.
best people to get right there.
Yeah, I was like, just them two alone. Paul Heyman, I would rank up there. If Bobby Heenan was not here, Paul Heyman would be the best manager and best talker. Like, it's Bobby Heenan and then him for me.
Bobby Heenan, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if they could get him back, which he wouldn't do it for many different reasons, but Jim Cornette could train another generation of people for the microphone.
I listen, and we've talked about this. I like Jim Cornette. There's a lot of views that me and him would be disagreeing on. But man, he's just coming off now as like this grumpy old man. Like,
Yes.
Paul
yes,
Heyman,
he is.
I like what he does. He knows my generation is up. I've got to train this next generation coming up.
Yep.
And if it wasn't for Paul Heyman, honestly, this Bloodline storyline would have failed a long time ago.
I agree.
I have a good feeling, though. I have a good feeling within the next 3 years. I think you're going to see changes at the table because, like, Pat McAfee, like, I think he's really good on the mic.
He is.
And, like, he brings that controversial Jerry Lawler kind of feel when on the mic. He's always against the popular opinion. He makes it fun. And to be honest, like, Pat McAfee's, he's a jerk, but man, I love his podcast and I love his views on things. Like, he just sounds like a jerk, but I'm like, some shows need that. You need the unpopular opinion to be brought to make the conversation more interesting. Now, he doesn't have a whole lot of wrestling experience and knowledge, but I think over time, if they really offered him more time on the mic and more time at wrestling, he could become something special down there. But I'm kind of tired of these like background mic people who just make it sound like they're wrestling analysts. They're not wrestling analysts. Like, get out of here. Give me somebody fun on the mic that will make fun of the face and the guy who goes for the heel.
You need a Jerry Lawler, Bobby Heenan.
I need a Jerry Lawler, Bobby Heenan, man. Like that is exactly what I need. I don't need a wrestling analyst. Like, come on, you're not fooling anybody with that kind of stuff.
Right.
I'm with you on that. I like Pat McAfee, and you're right, he's a jerk. But do we ever just look back and go, you know what? He's right.
Exactly.
Any other highlights for y'all for the Hall of Fame before we move on to the big shindig that I can't wait to talk about? That'll take a lot of time, I'm sure.
No, I mean, I thought all the inductees were, well deserving. I mean, I kind of got the warm and fuzzies with Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo, because I remember watching that they showed the clip when they announced their Hall of Fame induction. They showed the clip of them, walking down that Madison Square Garden, that blue hallway,
that's cool.
at the wrestling as the USA Express. I vividly remember watching that match live on TV as they were walking down that tunnel. That was the era, that was that 1982, 83. That was the era that I came into wrestling. And, it was like a month or two after I discovered wrestling, Hulkamania was born, and off we went. And so, being around for that whole era, those two were a huge part of the growth of WWE. And so that gave me the warm and fuzzies. I was really, really excited to see them get in.
I do. I was glad they inducted the U.S. Express, and they didn't induct him as Ern R.
Shyster.
I like the IRS character. I thought it was funny.
But let's be honest though. He was a jobber. He was, no, don't get me wrong. He did hold a belt. He was important. He had, there was a little bit of gravitas to his character, but he was, let's face it, he was just a step above like a Brooklyn Brawler. I mean, he was there to like just for people, for good, the bigger, higher level good guy personas to beat at a big match.
He man, I tell you what, and like Matt said, back when wrestling, and like you said, was wrestling, man, when he was Mike Rotunda, I loved watching him wrestle. Like, I thought I was like, man, that is a wrestler.
Yes. Him and Barry Windham were phenomenal together.
I like old Barry Windham. Just,
I do too.
Yeah, he's just, golly, yeah. Well, let's, man, like I said, I was excited last year for WrestleMania. That is not even compared to how I feel today about WrestleMania. Like, for me, this has been the best build-up for WrestleMania in like
a decade, and over a decade.
And we'll talk about this more at the end, but it's either going to be the greatest or it's going to be the biggest flop, and I'm going to be like really angry the rest of the time.
I'm going to run my head through a wall.
I want to talk about that from last year because we were all in the ring together.
We all said the same thing. We all said the same thing.
And I broke my glasses. Do y'all remember that? I was so angry.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about the matches. Let's start with right here. The first one that popped up for me, which I'm excited about, Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go
ahead, Ryan. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I was going to say I was going to talk to one of y'all, but yeah, let's do this. I think that I like Becky Lynch. I really do. I think that she is phenomenal when it comes to the women's revolution. And to me, honestly, I was telling Rylan today, the women's matches are usually my favorites. Like Rhea Ripley and Charlotte last year. Oh my gosh, dude, I could watch that again.
Yep.
I think of course there is a way, I guess. I don't think Ripley is losing this belt today. No, I think she is so over, and I could see her being the female Roman Reigns and holding it for a long time.
I think the Judgment Day is going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to go their separate ways, which they need to, because I'm sorry, Finn Balor is so much better than being a third party or third wheel to all this. And I will have to admit, I'm very shocked at how much real heat they've been able to get on Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, man.
I have not seen that kind of real heat in a long time. People like really, that whole thing, his feud with his dad, that whole thing brought some real heat to him. And but let's take away that heat and let's just look at his body of work. He's not the greatest. I mean,
he's definitely not his dad.
He's not his dad, and he's not good on the mic. He's a okay wrestler.
But that's why I agree with you. The Judgment Day is coming to an end.
Yep.
And this is why I think Rhea Ripley is too big, and Becky Lynch just doesn't have the passion anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, I'm like, size really shouldn't matter, but Becky doesn't have any size to her anymore. Mm-hmm. Like she looks really skinny and doesn't look like a wrestler to me anymore. Well, and she's still good on the mic, but she just doesn't, to me, have the passion and the fire that she did, like you would say 5 years ago when she was building.
Oh man,
the man.
Okay, so I think they crapped the bed. That Raw that they were building up to SummerSlam, where they were building up they did the invasion angle where the SmackDown ladies invaded Raw, and it was the night that Nia Jax potatoed Becky in the face and busted her nose up, and she stood above the crowd, with her arm raised and blood down her face.
Oh, that made her.
That made her, but what they did after the fact, I think, crapped the bed, because I think they were on the verge of launching her to the stratosphere and her becoming a Stone Cold Rock level persona. But they crap the bed on how that's the problem I've been having with wrestling over the years, is you have these lightning in a bottle moments and then you don't capitalize. You just crap the bed with it. And so I think she has lost her steam and she's got to figure out how to get it back. you have to admit that even though Rhea's on that heel faction, people are screaming to cheer for her. They want to cheer for her.
That's why I think this and the way Judgment Day is going to kind of fall apart is threefold. One, Mysterio needs to find his way back in good graces of WWE and the fans, and he needs to team back up with his father, because he's with him being the heel. He's not a good heel. He's just a jerk. It doesn't seem like he's really good at being the heel character.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he needs to get back into that bloodline. Since we are in the bloodline, he is in the Mysterio bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to reunite with the luchador bloodline.
Yeah.
I think he needs that. He needs to be a better wrestler. He's not that good. I mean, like, you need to go back. You need to learn some luchador moves, brother. You need to go back and learn the Mysterio ways and the family ways of luchador wrestling, and then bring that spirit back, and then get into the good graces of the fans again. Rhea Ripley, I think it's about time for her to become a face. And I think it's only because in order for Becky Lynch to become big again and become the man again, she's going to have to go mean. She's going to have to go heel. She's going to have to go what The Rock is doing right now. Go behind cameras and beat the crap out of Rhea Ripley with a belt and do the after camera stuff, all the fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I think she should do I think she should do the Stone Cold thing and blur the lines. I think she would be a great woman to blur the lines with if you do it right. Okay, that character that does not scream face, that does not scream heel, that does whatever they want to do and let the chips fall where they may, and the crowd just gravitate to it.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. I think that Rhea Ripley, and I'll say, I will admit it, Jim called it from NXT that she was going to be a big star.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, we'll see. I mean, she's good, but dude, she is without a doubt the most popular female wrestler right now. Maybe even over a lot of the males.
And tell me you don't see it 1 year from now, WrestleMania, Rhea, Jade Cargill.
Oh man.
Those two beasts.
See, and I'd be good with that. I'd be good if Jade won the Royal Rumble next year and faced Rhea at WrestleMania, with Jade being the heel. I think she's a better heel.
She is a much better heel. Much better heel.
Does anybody want to see some like China spirit and have Rhea fight some of the big guys? She's a pretty big woman. She's a pretty strong woman.
I thought they were going to go in that direction. That's good. That's funny you bring that up, because she would get right into like the men's face. And and I was like, oh man, they're about to build that China. Yeah, that's funny you said that. I was thinking of that, and then they just kind of faded out from that.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I don't want the whole men versus women matches coming back though. Like, I don't mind them getting up in each other's faces and stuff and backing them down, but or like somebody gets involved in a match and the woman knocks the dude out or something like that. I don't want to get back to that China era where she was Intercontinental Champion, didn't she take the belt from Jeff Jarrett
She
at
sure
one point?
Did.
I give all the props to China. That woman broke down walls in the world of wrestling. That woman deserved a whole lot better than she got. But I don't know. I guess I'm old school and I don't like the whole mixing the gender matches up and stuff. I don't know if I like that.
I just thought I'm like Matt. I thought they were about to go in that direction with Rhea Ripley. Like I was like, man, she is getting right in the men's faces. And I was like, I tell you who. Well, we're going to carry on to this Judgment Day match. There's a 6-pack ladder match, which I love ladder matches.
Oh my gosh!
And we got the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who honestly, I believe Damian Priest will cash in Money in the Bank and be a world champion. I don't know on who, and I'm going to be really pissed off if it's on Cody Rhodes.
It's going to be on Seth. It's going to be on Seth.
Yeah. And we'll get to that. And then DIY, Johnny Gargano and Ciampa, the Awesome Truth, the Miz and R-Truth, the New Day, and then you got Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, and Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. That's a pretty good little lineup.
See, you just saying all that right there, that needs to go away. We need real tag teams again.
Yes.
Like, we don't need name with name. We don't need name with name and name. Like, New Day and Judgment Day were like the only two tag teams you said out of all that.
Y'all get tired of me. I know y'all get tired of me sounding like a broken record. Go back to some, what was it? Survivor Series 88. Think of the think of that tag team Survivor Series match, and think about all the tag teams that were standing on that ring, and they were all definitive tag teams. There was no blurred lines. There was no like, these people just got put together last week and now they're this team, and everybody was a definitive tag team. Demolition, Powers of Pain, even the Conquistadors, okay, as stupid as they were still a tag team. You had the Hart Foundation. You had real teams, the Brain Busters.
Mm-hmm. I miss that. Like Matt said, like me looking at this list right here, I miss the tag team era. Like I was so glad we brought up in the tag team era. Like, man, like you said, I think like with the Hardy Boys, see, and I could just have three. Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, the Dudleys. That was the most epic ladder match I ever saw in my life.
That's
and we
TLC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And we can just have three tag teams. I think this one will be good, but I think it's a lot of tag teams, and it's going to get really confused.
It gets watered down.
I think someone's getting hurt tonight from that.
I could see that. Yeah. I really could. And this is probably, I'm excited about it, but it's one of those things, and I wish this was a time to give up both belts. I need one belt.
Oh,
yes.
That would be amazing.
I need one belt.
Get rid of the two belts.
Yeah, I don't care which belt you get, but I need one belt.
When that needs to happen on all of them. Like Roman needs to stop carrying two belts. Mm-hmm. They just introduced another belt. Like they're this coming week, they announced this today that they're introducing next week a tournament for the NXT Women's North American Championship.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
Okay, but this goes along with my my home run hit that I'll share later.
Oh, okay, all right.
Next match, which I think we all are looking forward to, also Jay and Jimmy Uso.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know why, because what can come of it? I'm hoping that this is the end. I'm hoping this is the end of the tribal stuff.
Nope.
And that the Usos get back together. I don't like the Usos not together. Like I only like the Usos together.
I don't think my personal opinion is I don't think you're going to see the end of them getting back together. I think you're going to see they're going to put Jimmy over on Jay. And the reason why I say that is I think they're going to go balls in on trying to make them singles stars. And the only way you're going to propel them both is by letting Jimmy go over on Jay, because Jay's already got the star power.
Oh, man.
He's got the star power, and he's going to be able to take a loss and move on. Jimmy right now, I think the crowds don't buy and he's just kind of a minion to Roman, and he's inconsequential. And so I think they're going to do some work on Jimmy and try to go all in on making him a single star. And I think it's because they want it. They want to be they both want single stars, and Jay's ready for it.
I love if they were in that ladder match tonight, the Usos with all them. Oh, dude, ladder match! Like I love the Usos are my favorite tag team of this era.
Usos?
Oh, dude, and I'm like Matt. Like I don't like them apart. I don't like that. It just seems so weird to me.
So let me throw something at you. Because it is possible to be a popular tag team and Jay have a belt outside of the tag team too. Mm-hmm. So like since Jimmy's not as big as Jay, then Jay can have the tag team because everybody loves the Usos, and he can have his single matches too. Now it's more work for him, but he's so over. I think he can do that, and and since I'm ready for this tribal stuff to be over,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, what if Solo came out, helped Jay win, and Jay doesn't like it, and then something builds up between him and Solo because there's like some tension, and it kind of brings the Usos back together because now he's seeing what the tribe is really like with all this heel stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of drifts away from it, and then something between Jay and Solo, because is anybody else wanting Solo to do anything? I
No.
feel like he's such a background guy that I don't get his presence in the
And I,
WWE.
yeah, and I hate that because I think they could build Solo up to be this like amazing, just the neck. But like for the last couple of years, he hasn't had a match on WrestleMania, never.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think tonight, I think you're going to see Rikishi come out during Jay and Jimmy's match.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
I got a feeling, and but I like Matt. I think Solo I think he has a lot of potential, but I feel like they are just making him this joke of a character where he doesn't speak really,
Right.
to where he's pretty much the enforcer. I say that in quotes, but they're just not. If I was him, I'd be pretty upset that I'm not on WrestleMania card again, that I'm back in the background. That's 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Like,
I just feel like he's a waste of space. Like, why
Yeah.
do we have this guy around?
Mm-hmm.
what about I want Sami Zayn versus Gunther.
Oh, here we go.
I think Gunther's going to drop the belt only because he needs to go on to a bigger belt. He's had that thing for so long, and I feel like that belt has held him here, and now it's time for Gunther to go up here and do something bigger.
And I agree with that, but they, for some reason, love crapping on Sammy. I don't get it. Sammy is just he's been able to rebrand so much, and we've seen so many iterations of Sammy. He's good in a tag team. He's great with Owens. He's created a lot of great moments, but for whatever reason, they can't let Sammy be like a tenure champ of any type. Like, if you think back, most of his belt, his times as champion have been abbreviated. And I don't know, man. They just have this habit. I'm concerned about this because I think we all agree Gunther is incredible. He's probably one of the best heels to come around in the last decade. He's just it's just a combination of the perfect person in the perfect role at the perfect time. And I think he is destined to be a phenomenal. He's going to be champion at some point. He's going to be world champ at some point. You can't deny that. Barring some kind of catastrophic event, he's going to be a champion. I just don't know. I'm concerned about the ending of this match. I don't know. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the finish. They got to finish this right, and I think they might. This might be one that lets me down.
I think I was kind of hoping for a Gunther and Chad Gable. I really was.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could have seen Chad Gable, like, because of that passion that he has, and I like Sami Zayn. I got a feeling, and I'm with you. I think he'll be the one, honestly. If Cody wins tomorrow night, I think Cody will hold it for a little bit. I think he'll hold it until about maybe Royal Rumble. And I could see Gunther being the one that takes it from Cody. Could.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's a hard one to talk about. I just don't know. I think anything's possible with that one. But I could see Gunther winning tonight, honestly.
I could too. I could see them letting him win and then doing something crazy in the next, like the Raw after Mania. him dropping it to somebody else, but
You know who reminds me of? You know who Gunther reminds me of? Old school Killer Kowalski.
Oh yeah. Oh, I see that all day.
Like, I love watching Gunther just because he is the old school tough guy, and I like it.
He's got a
Y'all
little bit
are
of.
saying Gunther's winning.
I think okay. I don't want him to win. I want him to drop the belt. I'm thinking they're going to have him win because they, for whatever reason, I think they're going to want to carry his streak a little bit, and they just have a habit of crapping on Zambi. But here's the other thing. Here's the other thing you got to think about. They're not going to allow a WrestleMania to be like a showcase of face where all the good guys win all the time. And so they, in their booking, they have to balance things. And so if we're going to get a new Cody Rhodes world champion, the likelihood of us getting a new Intercontinental champion kind of goes down. So
though, I will say I do think Gunther will win, but I could also see each night, because last year, remember, Owens and Zayn won, and that was the emotional part of night one. Then night two, we just didn't have any emotional. It was just a total cluster.
Oh, it was devoid of emotion.
Yeah. I think that each night you're going to see one emotional win, and it could be Sami Zayn beating Gunther. But I just don't think they're going to take the belt off of him yet. But
I say Zayn wins only because we have new owners, and I think they see it like you have, Jim.
Yeah.
That they keep crapping on Zayn, and they're like, let's give it to him, and then he'll lose it on Monday Night Raw.
But that's the other thing. All of his title reigns are abbreviated. It's crazy.
And I like Sami Zayn. I think he's great.
I think he's great.
Let's talk about the big one tonight. I know Bloodline versus Rhodes and Rollins. I think without a doubt, Reigns and The Rock. Good Lord. Reigns and The Rock. I think you have to have Bloodline rules tomorrow night just to make
absolutely. You got to have the drama tomorrow.
Yeah. But here's my question: how do they lose? What build up do you have? Do you have Reigns pinning Rhodes again tonight?
Yes. I think tonight you have Reigns pinning Rhodes in the end, and I think there's going to be people involved. Obviously, some shenanigans is going to go down, and I think you have Reigns pinning Rhodes to set, because if you do it right, if you're booking this right, and you want that big pop night 2, I think this just fuels that fire. It just stokes it to have Reigns winning on night 1. And, going into, I'm going to dominate Rhodes. I'm going to own him another night. And then you have, when that 3 comes down, if you have Reigns pin Rhodes on night 1, when that 3 comes down and Cody wins night 2, my God.
I think, you know what, though? And here's my worry. And let me just throw this out there. If Rhodes and Rollins win, Cody will lose tomorrow night.
Absolutely.
I just got a weird feeling. I think Rock and Reigns do win tonight, because I think we got to have that drama. And tomorrow night, I think, and we'll talk about this, I think something epic is going to happen in that main event. That nobody's knowing.
Yeah.
Okay. I think.
Is this your home run?
I'm going to throw it out there now, only because it kind of goes along with this match.
Okay.
I think it will be an all-out blood slobber knocker. Like, I think we're going to see blood. I think we're going to see pain. I think we're going to see like tired. This match is going to go on for an hour, I think.
Yeah. You think we're going to go old school with the blood and everything? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're going to see some exhaustion. You're going to see them, especially The Rock. And I don't think Reigns pins Rhodes. I think Rock pins Rollins.
Okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
I think Rock is back to help launch something for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my home run. I don't know if everybody has been seeing Cena lately on talk shows and stuff lately. I think Cena is going to show up either tonight or tomorrow in support, in I don't know what capacity. And I think that Rock is going to pin Rollins, and it's going to build something up between Rollins and The Rock.
Okay.
And it's either going to be Rock and Rollins in a future match, and The Rock takes the belt from Rollins, or it's going to be Logan and Rollins in a future match, and Rock screws Rollins out of the belt. Logan gets the belt.
Mhm.
And here is my home run, is because Cena and Logan have been having words, have been on shows and stuff like that. So I think either in a future pay-per-view or next WrestleMania, God please, I think you are going to get Cena breaking the record, taking the belt from Logan Paul, because I think now we have management that's in WWE that realizes this has to be broken.
Yeah.
Cena has given his life to wrestling
Yeah.
and has been crapped on just like Sami Zayn for way too long by McMahon. And I think people need to see a record broken right now. And I think it's going to be, I don't know at what pay-per-view. I hope it would be WrestleMania. God, that would be such a retirement. And I think John Cena will beat Logan for the belt at whatever pay-per-view, hopefully WrestleMania, and he's going to lay the belt on the mat, thank everyone for what they have done for him in the WWE, and he is going to walk away and retire. He is going to retire.
I desperately want him to get that moment, but man, you're right. McMahon just crapped all over him. I mean, think back to that. What was it? The New Orleans WrestleMania where he didn't have a match. He was in the crowd, and then they put him together with the Undertaker, and it lasted 5 seconds or something.
Yeah,
that was so dumb.
Nothing will ever beat for me the Bray Wyatt John Cena WrestleMania. That they were just doing characters.
Oh gosh.
I mean, I'd love to see it. I think he does deserve to break the record, without a doubt.
Yeah. Have y'all seen so Stone Cold on his social media videos? Somebody has been leaving gifts for him on his truck every day, and it's been like, tons of beer and beef jerky and all this, manly stuff. And in it has been like little hints that it came from Cody, but no name on it.
No.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Here's the thing. What happens if tomorrow night it's Bloodline Rules and anything goes, and you hear that glass break? What do you think? Do you think the crowd just goes absolutely nuts?
I think they lose their stuff, man. That just like that video you shared the other day, or maybe Brian shared, I don't know, but one of us shared a video the other day of Stone Cold. That man has gotten the loudest pops in arenas across the world. And I'm telling you right now, I think he's going to be involved somehow in favor of Cody. And I don't know when it happens, but at some point that glass is going to break. I mean, I could easily see, because you remember him and The Rock, man.
Oh, dude, they had the best matches.
They had the best feud. One of the best feuds, if not the best feud of all freaking time. And so it would only make sense that The Rock would make a phone call and say, Steve, you down? Absolutely. Let's do this. And I don't know. I think it would be a huge moment for him to come.
I would say number 1 is Stone Cold and The Rock. Number 2 is Hulk Hogan and Macho Man.
Oh, Lord. I like the mega powers explode.
Let's go to night 2, and then we'll talk about that. Let's talk about Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre.
I think Drew wins.
Oh yeah.
I think Drew's gonna get the belt.
Finally.
Finally. Even as a heel. I mean, I think it could be under better circumstances. I think he deserves the belt for sure. But I think it could be under better circumstances. I wish they weren't doing the heel turn with him to get it. but I don't know. I think he gets it, and I
You
think he
know,
deserves it.
you know what's odd about that? It's funny you brought that up because he's heel, but a couple Mondays ago he was coming out cutting a heel promo, but he still claps the fans' hands.
Yeah, yeah.
I I'm so okay. So I think I think Drew McIntyre deserves it hands
Yeah.
down. The things he's done for the WWE, especially during COVID and
Oh,
everything, he deserves it. If let's say I don't think he's going to get the belt. I think Rollins is going to hold it only because of the scenario I was speaking
okay.
of. But let's say he does hold it. He won't hold it for long. Logan Paul will take it from him because they are building Logan Paul up for that belt. And
Oh,
I think that
Okay.
is the dumbest thing. But he's a huge heel. You can't
oh yeah.
deny like he is a good heel, but he is a heel outside of WWE and he is a heel inside the WWE. So building him up, and you can't deny that he's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, oh yeah.
he is willing to put his body on the line for
Oh,
wrestling. So I'm like, man, it would be amazing if
That
he somehow had the belt and that's John Cena's last match, and plus Logan Paul is a part of the future and John Cena's retiring. I just think, but I still think McIntyre won't win the belt. But if he did, I think Logan Paul is going to take it from Drew McIntyre, and that's what's going to set the future up
I
for.
hated the fact that Logan Paul came into wrestling. I couldn't stand it at first. But that Royal Rumble moment when him and Ricochet collided, I gained so much respect for his athletic capabilities that I was like, okay, I get it. Okay. So now I'm like, he makes the perfect lifetime heel. He is that perfect. I'll be a heel for my entire run and my entire career. Everybody's going to always boo me, and I'm totally okay with that because I'm going to sell a whole bunch of prime drinks and make $1 billion.
yeah. I don't like Logan Paul, but I also
I don't either, but
I don't want him to go away from the WWE because I think that he is the heel that we all need.
yeah, he is.
Like
He
he's
really is.
But he's the heel that needs to help Cena retire. And this
I
is
can,
why I say that is because Logan Paul, even though we are new age social media, he is old school promo. Because if you go and happen to pass by one of his social medias, he's always in character. He's never
Mhm.
outside character
oh no,
because he's
yeah,
always a jerk.
Yeah,
He's always
yeah.
a jerk. In anything he does, that's who his personality is.
right.
And it's like you said. It is like you said, Matt. You cannot deny he is good at wrestling. He
Yeah,
is.
he is good.
I and let's talk about that. Him, Randy Orton, and Owens. I think Paul retains as much as I would love to see Owens or Randy take the belt. I don't think.
Logan.
I think like Matt. I think it builds Logan more up. I think he'll lose it before SummerSlam in his hometown.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's no. What does it gain for Orton or Owens to win the United States title?
It does
mean,
nothing. It does nothing for either of them, which is why Logan Paul will win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Logan takes that one. I think that it. Yeah, he's a good heel. Like we just.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. It could either be a good one or it's going to be a flop. I'm excited about LA Knight and AJ Styles.
I'm
Oh my
digging.
gosh.
Did
Did you see their heat?
Yes.
It looked
Yes.
like they were about to street fight.
Yes.
I think these two right here. I think LA Knight is in his prime right now. I think he's great on the mic. I think he's without a doubt. He can talk.
He can talk, man. He's
AJ
good.
Styles cannot promo that well to me, but he can wrestle. I think that this match is either going to be the biggest flop or it's going to be one of the ones that everybody's like.
I think it's going to be a steal the show. It's going to come out of left field. People are not going to expect it to be as good as it's going to be. I think it's going to be a really well executed match, and I think LA Knight wins.
Could you see Out of curiosity, could you see LA Knight being the one that dethrones Logan Paul for the belt, for the United States belt, to get him, to
Yeah,
get Logan into that world title hunt?
absolutely, absolutely. Because you know, LA Knight is still on that rise, and he's still got some time to. He's still got to pay his dues a bit in the WWE. I know he's paid his dues on the independent circuit, but he's still got some climbing to do and some more building of his character to do. So yes, I think he could. I think the United States belt would be a great next step for him.
Matt, what do you
Man,
think?
I'm like sitting here like I just think that's too little a belt for LA Knight. I'm like I want to see, you know who I want to see next WrestleMania? And I want to see promos for the next for like 6 months before WrestleMania is
Hmm.
Gunther and LA Knight.
Oh yeah.
Because think of the promos you would get from those two leading up to a
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania.
Yep.
And
Would
they're
you?
two young wrestlers, new wrestlers. They're two good wrestlers. And I just think that would be such an epic. I mean, it's not going to happen next year, but if they did something within the next year and a half that set a LA Knight Gunther
Mhm.
world title match,
Mm-hmm.
I would be all for it.
Let me ask you this: that you bring up a good point. Do you think they should have flipped it? Do you think it should have been LA Knight against Gunther for the Intercontinental title tonight, and Sami Zayn against AJ Styles, or do you think they got it just right?
You know what, man? I think they got it right only because I think Zayn
Mm-hmm.
deserves that belt.
Okay.
Like they're not. This is it for Zayn. Like
Hmm.
that belt is as good as it's going to get for
Yeah.
probably the rest of his career.
I think, yeah, I think you're right. I think tonight or tomorrow night, it's Sunday night, which I'm glad, but I think LA Knight beats Styles.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see Styles, and I love Styles. I think AJ Styles is, not to sound cliche, but phenomenal.
Yeah.
But LA Knight, I think the crowd, that's a prime example. The crowd turned him face. He was a bad guy,
Yep.
and the crowd just kept cheering and loving him and all that. I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
better bad guy. I think he's a better heel, but I think, like Matt, I think he is definitely a future, and I would love to see him in Gunther. You're right. Like I think that'll be phenomenal. I
Yeah.
really do.
LA Knight's definitely the part of the future for sure.
Hmm.
So here's one I want to talk about that I'll tell you why, but Io Sky versus Bailey. All right. I think they did not do Bailey right. I think Bailey won the female Royal Rumble. I think she should be on night one, and she should be like what Rhea and Charlotte did. They
Mm-hmm.
should be the either, if not the main event, because I think it's only fair. The men, if you win that, you're in the Royal Rumble. I think the women
Mm-hmm.
should main event night one. I I just think that I think this match is going to be good. I think Bailey takes it now that she's back to being a face.
Mm-hmm.
But I also believe that I don't think they did Bailey right on this, or Io Sky. I think they deserve to be on night one.
I
I
I agree.
I think that match will be a flop unless Bailey comes out as my old Bailey. If Bailey
whole,
just comes out, if she just comes out like she's been with the whole dark and the
You
whole
want the happy
whatever,
Bailey again. You want happy
I
Bailey
need that.
again.
I need the hands. I need the little
Yes.
floaties.
the
I need
hugs.
all that. I need
Yeah.
all that cheesy stuff. I need her to be. I need the whatever you call them off her.
Oh, the
I need all
streamers.
that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, streamers. Yeah.
You know what? I do think that if she comes out tomorrow night with that theme, I think if it starts out as her old theme and then it just stops and she's not coming out and they think that maybe she got hurt or she's too scared to come out, that big promo, and then her old theme pops up and those things come out, I think you got a pop going like crazy.
Oh
I
my
really.
gosh. And this is WrestleMania, man. When are we gonna have someone like the what Triple H used to do and make your
Um,
entrances? Man, I never liked Triple H, but I always looked forward to his entrances. He
oh
had
Mm-hmm.
the
man.
most epic entrances. I need that again.
You
Like
know what?
like you
Yeah.
said with Bailey, if they did the whole I'm scared thing and then oop up that's gone, and that would be epic because
Yeah.
that is something that WrestleMania needs, and not just play the regular old.
No, they need the over the top, the extra, the extra pageantry. Yes.
I think that Bailey, and I think we all agree, I like Bailey, and I like Io Sky. I think she's amazing in that ring.
Yes.
But I think they have just not built this match up the way they should. I think they got built up.
I think they rushed to this match too fast. I think they rushed to it too fast.
I agree with that. All right, let's talk about the main event. This is going to be a little bit.
If Cody doesn't win, we riot.
And that's what we were talking about. So I think this match plans the future for the WWE. I really do. I think it's either Cody wins and we have a really out, and if Roman wins, I think you have wasted the greatest promo and greatest comeback story and this whole love for Cody.
Yep.
And I'm not saying it's going to be his fault, but listen, man, everybody is, I mean, I would get tired of going, God bless, man, when's it going to finish this story? Like, what's the end game here?
It makes absolute no sense for Reigns to win tonight. In my
tomorrow,
opinion, if
tomorrow
Reigns,
night. You talking about night 2? Tomorrow night.
Yes. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Tomorrow night. It makes no sense because it would almost be like the remnants of McMahon is still haunting the ring because it like Reigns. I know the record of the 3-year thing. Has that been hit yet, or has not been hit?
He breaks Hogan's record either tonight or tomorrow night. Well, they planned that well, didn't they? It's either tonight or tomorrow night, and I think they'll be okay with. I think that's who they want to break. They're never going to break Bruno Sammartino.
You're never going to break that record.
He's champ for 7 years. I quit.
Yeah.
So why would they let him break Hulk Hogan's record and not let Cena break Ric Flair's record? Like, this is why we need records broken. Records are meant to be broken. And McMahon was just nostalgic. He didn't want anybody to break those records because that was this is the industry he helped build. And, even though Ric Flair wasn't a part of his industry for so long, I don't understand why we love that record for Ric Flair. It's like, it's been tied too long. We would see history. People need to see history. We have our generation, we have our father's generation, and we have these kids that could watch new era wrestling and see John Cena, who not only changed the face of WWE after the Attitude Era, but is an amazing human being outside of WWE, and he is probably the most deserving outside and inside of the ring of a record. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say this because it was already going to piss me off if she did it. I would be okay. I would definitely be okay if Cena came and broke the record first, and then they let Flair's
Charlotte. Yeah, Charlotte.
And let her take the record back for the Flair name. I would totally be okay. You know why? Because John Cena did it first.
And that would be a great build because think of that. I mean, number one, think of the fun you could have to the build to Cena getting it, to breaking it. And then think of that build because, Charlotte's been off of TV for a long time. Think of the build, the fun you could have in the build up to her bringing it back to the Flair name. I mean, those two things scream money to me all day long.
Yeah.
Let me say, and to piggyback off that about people deserving it, and that, I think Cena deserves to break that record without a doubt. I think Rhodes deserves to win tonight. I don't think I've ever seen a babyface get this much popularity than whenever we were watching back in the 80s and 90s of Hulk Hogan. Like, I think Rhodes, you can't turn him heel. Like, you can't.
I think you have to keep him face. He's got to be that Hogan type character for the rest of his career and I think he's going to be tremendously successful doing it.
I think that Rhodes, and personally, I would have loved to seen Cena beat Reigns at SummerSlam that year to break the record, and Rhodes beat Cena at WrestleMania. And that's kind of like the passing. Like, that's two of the biggest But I like Matt's idea also, him laying it down. We have another tournament, but what does what does a WWE as Rhodes as the champion? What does that look like to y'all?
I think it's going to be with him leading that. Well, first of all, I think he's going to be a great champion of the brand. I think he's gonna be another John Cena, because you think about all the good John Cena has done, like Make a Wish and all that stuff. Everything I'm seeing from Cody is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like that look at all the stuff he does for how above and beyond that man goes to make fans happy. Mm-hmm. And I think we would be back to an era of face dominance. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be that face dominance, but you're going to have those huge, huge challenges. And I don't think Cody loses it too fast. I think you need to let him carry that belt for a little while, because I think it needs to mean something when he loses it. Because if you give it to him now, and this is what we consider him finishing the story, but then you take it off from him 6 months from now, to me that kind of waters it down, and it doesn't mean as much. Mm-hmm. So I think he spends the next year, trying to stay on top of the mountain, and we just keep bringing big name after big name after big name, but we put on some spectacular matches in order to build up characters. Mm-hmm. Get the Cody rub, just like The Rock is doing. Rock's going to be having matches with more people and get that Rock rub on them, just to get that rub to get some of these younger stars over that hurdle that they're trying to get and get them to that next level.
How cool would it be? How cool would it be if Rhodes went old school and came out on a SmackDown or a Raw or whatever, put the belt on the ring and says, whoever comes out here can challenge me for the belt right now on a Raw. Mm-hmm. On a Raw or a SmackDown.
Yeah.
Like you happen to watch, you don't know really what's going to go on, and Rhodes just comes out and goes like, you know what, I feel like a challenge tonight. Somebody come out there, and then it's like someone you just don't know. They just come running in like, oh, I want the belt. I want the belt.
So,
like, oh my God, that would get people watching.
Yeah.
That would get me watching SmackDown again.
Edge is doing it on AEW.
Exactly.
He's TNT champ, and he's going by Adam Copeland now. And he's got this thing going called the Cope Open. And so they don't put him on the bill, but he just walks out and he just gets on the mic and he just gives a quick promo. And then he's like, so anybody back there who thinks they got the stuff, come on out. I'm putting the belt on the line right now. And he just throws the belt down and says, come on and get it.
That's old school, man. We need that again.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre just tweeted, so UPS has lost my ring gear before WrestleMania.
Oh no! No!
But
man,
I do like that idea. I like the fact I love old school, and I think Cody Rhodes is about as old school as you're going to get right now. What does it look like? What does it look like if Rhodes loses tomorrow night? Like honestly,
it looks like there's going to be 3 less people watching the product tomorrow or the next day.
Because let me tell you this: if you come on tomorrow night and see Rhodes lose again on the biggest stage of wrestling, then it would just tell me that they made it look like something was going to change, but nothing really changed. If you come out and let Rhodes take a belt that his family has never won on the biggest stage of his most deserving career, then I will become a believer. Like I'll be like, okay, things are going to change, because I'm sitting here thinking like, I would be sincerely brokenhearted if John Cena retired tomorrow and never got to break the record. Yeah. Because that means they're going to let Charlotte Flair just continue it, and then it just carries the Flair name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so boring. That is so sucky.
Yeah. I know, I agree with that. I think she's one injury away from retirement, man. She stays hurt now all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, she does.
I think Rhodes. I think if he loses tomorrow night, I think that
He ain't losing, man. He ain't losing. He ain't.
I don't think he is. I think he is going to win. But I think if he loses, I think you fumbled it. I think it's just
Yes.
like that. You have built it up, and you have finally you're selling out arenas again.
Mhm.
You are getting people to buy merchandise, and these characters are amazing, and these promos. If Reigns wins tomorrow night, you have literally just pretty much just gave the middle finger to everybody that's been watching this.
Yep. Yep.
I think that. Yeah, I think Rhodes, if he there, I mean, there's just no way. There's no way for you to go on, because I was already upset last year when they were like, "Well, just think about it. It's a story. We're in chapter 1. Okay, that's cool now that we're here. But if you tell me again, well, no, I'm done with the story. I'm finished."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim,
After tonight,
mhm.
after tonight, like I think with that big match, I think Rhodes and Reigns should come out tomorrow night in bandages. Like they're on the biggest stage for that huge belt, and they should look injured and hurt after an exhausting match tonight, and come out and give one of the greatest matches of all time, and then a very, very hurt and very overworked Rhodes showed that he overcame all of that and picks up the belt.
I definitely think somebody. Now that you just said that, I think it'll be Rhodes that comes out with like his ribs taped, or like he got busted open again, something.
He'll have the Band-Aid on the forehead thing going on.
Yeah, when you bring that up, man, I think you do need that to add more drama, because I think Roman will hit the spear on Rhodes's ribs, and you'll think it's over.
Yep.
I think there's going to be a lot of close calls. All right, Jim, what do you think?
I think Rhodes wins. He freaking better. But I don't know, man. I do have some concern, and it's the whole, that's part of the buildup. That's the anticipation of not knowing, because we're all sitting there going, he has to win, he has to win, he has to win. But
it could go, yeah.
There could definitely be a swerve in there somewhere. And it's
already getting me angry.
It's oh, dude, I'm sitting here saying this, and I'm making my own self mad by saying it. Because I mean, they could do something. They could do a swerve in there by having Reigns go win, and then bring him back for the Raw after Mania, because that's historically the most watched Raw of all year. It's the most watched Raw all year long. And, what if, they play on everybody's emotions, and then something happens the next night, and you get the Rock turn, where the Rock decides he wants to become the head of the table now. And things kind of fall out to where you have a rematch of some sort that comes about, and they give it to Cody on Raw. I don't want that, but I'm just throwing that out there as I could see them thinking that would be a good swerve. To me, it would piss me off, because you're going to give Cody the belt on a Raw and not Mania.
That would just.
All right. Yeah, I think we're all going to, if Cody loses tomorrow night, we're all going to go home and yell at our kids.
But that's the thing, is if he
torches
lost
and pitchforks.
If he lost tomorrow night, how many people would actually watch Raw?
Oh,
because I definitely wouldn't waste my time. I'd be like, I don't care what kind of surprise, because Monday night always has some good surprises after WrestleMania, but I wouldn't give a crap. I would be like, they crapped on me Sunday night by
I would be so angry.
Got me so invested. And it's so old school, because Rock has been doing the talk shows and been doing social media and been doing, and like he's even like spreading it around in like his UFL stuff and all this. He's taken that character to his private life, and building up WrestleMania. Like that is old school. People just don't do that anymore.
I know.
Because they leave WWE and then they become who they really are outside of the WWE.
Correct.
But The Rock is carrying it with him. He's not being like The Rock, but he is carrying that promo to whatever, calling the Rhodes, the Crybaby Rhodes or whatever.
Yeah,
the
Cody Crybabies. The Cody Crybabies.
Yeah.
I think in closing, with that being the main event, I think Rhodes wins, but I think you can go. Okay, real quick, and then we'll be done. I'm sorry. Could you see The Rock turning on Reigns tomorrow night?
Yes.
Yeah, I could easily see there being a turn at some point. I mean, I don't think it comes tonight. I think it would come tomorrow night because I don't know how it would play out. I'd have to think about it some more, but I could easily see The Rock turning, and then the Monday night, the Raw after Mania. I told you I was trying to find my place to sit. Looking for my place to sit, and I've decided that my place is at the head of the table.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I think definitely if The Rock turns, he's going to be heel. I think like you said, I think he just takes his. Yeah. It's going to be exciting. It starts in 30 minutes. Is that right?
Yep.
Let's go,
30 minutes.
baby!
30 minutes.
So that is our predictions. That is our talk. If Cody loses, I will never talk about it again.
And we said the same thing last year.
I say that in every pay-per-view because I'm so fed up. But I
mean it this year.
I'm hoping tonight is the start of something new.
Something big. Yeah.
This is more emotional than it was last year.
Oh,
way more emotional than it was last year. That's why, you can't do this to Rhodes tonight because it's more emotional than it's ever been or has been in the past 10 years because you've invested us outside of WWE and inside of it. It's time. It's time for change. And I think Reigns having this belt for so long is just so boring.
I think if Rhodes wins tomorrow night, I'll be like, all right, even though I was upset last year, it all makes sense now. This is good.
Let's go.
All right. Any final thoughts?
No.
Cena for WrestleMania champ retired. Yes, that's what I need to have.
That's hilarious. I like that. Hey, don't forget WrestleMania is hitting Nashville in a couple of years. So
27.
We will be there.
27.
You can bet.
The fan experience, baby. Yeah. Can't wait.
So, all right, y'all. Well, y'all enjoy it. We'll be posting our views on that. But I am Ryan, and that's Jim and Matt. We're with the ECPC TV. I did it again.
You did it.
So yeah, have fun. Go WrestleMania. Go Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
Thank you for being a part of our show. Go to ecpctv.com to follow and support our show. Stay eclectic. End program.